Do anyone see this? This is a message, a warning. 20,000 people died at once. Before we go on, please share this video, comment, like. You can leave a subscribe, and ring the notification bell. So the next video I put out, you will be the first to get notify. We'll begin in Libya, where there are fears that the number of people who've died in the catastrophic floods there could reach as many as 20,000 as tsunami-like river floodwaters swept through the port city of Derna on Sunday after 2 dams burst. Then, by the scale of the humanitarian catastrophe the flooding has caused. And finally, overwhelmed by grief at the loss of life. God, give me patience. My heart is with you, this man cries as he sees the body of his young son. It's now becoming clearer that this was a natural disaster, but enabled by human actions. The Wadi Donar River had 2 dams, but both of them has failed. The upper 110 kilometers from the town had a capacity of about 1.5 million cubic meters of water. When that burst, that water, with a weight of about 1.5 million tons, rushed to the sea, sweeping the second dam and about 1/4 of the city with it. We had warned the authorities since last week, no for years, that the dam had cracks and needs to be maintained. We said it and nobody listened to us, and now the whole of Derna is flooded. The blame will inevitably fall on the politicians and warlords who have tried and failed to run this country since the fall of the dictator Muammar Gaddafi. It has been an enormous shock, and I don't want to point the blame at anyone or create controversy. Even if all measures had been taken, there would have been losses, massive losses. While the overwhelming majority of victims will be Libyans, others were caught up in the disaster. 74 Egyptians, all from the same town, were swept out to sea. I've lost 4 members of my family, Hassan says. My son called his brother last Thursday for the last time, telling him that he will get clothes for the children. Oh yeah, oh my dear son, he finishes. International aid is starting to arrive. But the same crumbling infrastructure that allowed this disaster to happen also prevents the help getting through. When you walk on the ground out there now, what you smell is the smell of corpses, and what you hear is the screams of women and children. And we don't have what it takes. We need more rescue teams. Situation is way worse than it seems in the media. It is hard to comprehend the full scale of this tragedy. The force of nature and the failings of government saw entire families, entire communities, simply washed into the sea. I've now told Middle East correspondent Lena Sinjar, who's following all the developments. What aid is getting through to those who so desperately need it? Well, basically as some of the, governments that have sent aid, rescuers and medics have just started to arrive into the port of Dana that is the most affected by the storm. Danielle.03:28. I mean, but the scale of the situation is massive and will need more and more people arriving, more and more medics. And there are 30,000 people that are now homeless, and they need shelter, they need food, they need clean water. But the priority for everyone on the ground now is to recover and retrieve bodies. That there are reports of the sea, throwing bodies like constantly on the shores. And the numbers are likely to be higher and higher with the hours and days unfolding. And we understand that the 2 opposing governments that run the country have agreed to work together. Tell us more about their efforts. Well, this is if there is any glimpse of hope, is that these 2 opposing governments have put their differences aside. This is a natural catastrophe. It's unprecedented that the country had witnessed, and they cannot do it while they're fighting. This is the time to join forces and provide help, and they will still need help from international community. We've seen reports of Egypt, UAE, Turkey stepping in and arriving in with their medics, but also other countries in the West are also stepping in. This is a natural disaster, as we heard also in the report, joined by man-made one because of, the weak structure of the dams. But the results of this and the price is going to be really high, and it's going to take weeks and probably months before rebuilding this area. But the priority now is, counting counting the dead and also retrieving the dead is a huge danger, and concern about diseases now spreading, isn't there? Absolutely makes us some frontiers also joining today, because they also worry about diseases spreading because of the bodies covered under rubbles or in water. As we heard also from in the report, that the smell that you can smell.